What is going on, team? Welcome to another video. I'm still here in Bali, as you can see by the fact that it is nearly November and basically the sun is still shining. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through one of my conditioning sessions, which today is not going for a run. Typically, as hybrid athletes, we have our strength, power and speed pursuit, and we also have our endurance pursuit. And the endurance pursuit, a lot of the time, is either running on the road, trails, OCRs, marathon prep, whatever it may be, or something like cycling, but it tends to be single modality, and a lot of the time, is steady state. My ankle is still a little bit busted from this ridiculous thing I did in Canada a few weeks ago. So what I'm gonna do is basically do my own kind of alchemic mix of a little bit of like what's called hybrid strongman. So basically simple strongman movements, but used as tools for cardio. So they're not gonna be 1 rep maxes as an example. Combining that with a little bit of like super basic functional fitness. And I say super basic because I'm not a massive fan of high skill movements being used as tools for cardio, like snatches as an example. So my session today is going to be broken into 3 different sections. This tends to be a theme. And the first section is basically I'm going to do a little bit of heavy cardio. I'm going to do some push-pull legs. So I'm going to do a push movement, a pull movement, and a leg movement, a lower body movement, but sub-maximum in terms of weight, keeping the rest nice and low or pretty much nil. And then effectively just using those 3 kind of functional bodybuilding movements as a tool for aerobic capacity. So again, this can be for anyone who just wants to mix it up, that doesn't want to run, that doesn't want to swim, that doesn't want to cycle as a hybrid athlete. So these 3 functional bodybuilding movements can be used in the paradigm, in the realm of like circuit training. It's like metabolic bodybuilding. You're still getting a little bit of tissue perfusion, but effectively we are getting a conditioning benefit by the fact that it is going to be super gassy because it's sub-maximal. We just keep moving. So I'm going to do push movement, pull movement, and lower body movement. I'm going to do some strict overhead press with a barbell. I'm going to do about 15 reps. I'm then going to do about 8 L hang pull-ups. So basically kind of feet out in front of me to get a little bit of a core benefit as well. And then just the prowler, push, pull. I'll have about 60 seconds after that and then back in. I'm pretty much warmed up, so let's get cracking. That is section 1 done and in the bag. The overhead felt okay, actually, to be honest, I have to say, like endurance-wise, and the push movements felt all right. The L hang pull-ups, in addition to kind of your core working, your trunk, your torso is in a certain position where you can't properly like slightly extend your spine to get a little bit more air in, so not really breathing, going straight from the overhead to that. That was pretty cheeky. And sled pushes and pulls, I found a nice kind of steady pace just under where my legs would just get absolutely flipping flooded with lactic. So I'm just kind of maintaining that pace the whole time. So section 2 now, we're gonna do a little bit of a compound carry condition, which is something that I'm a massive fan of in terms of overall functional hypertrophy and conditioning. And again, in terms of keeping the impact fairly low, you can't run, you just don't have the inclination, switch out one of your steady state, single modality kind of endurance sessions with something like this, with a little bit of like functional fitness style, hybrid strongman conditioning. And section 2, you can just kind of see in the background, we're going to do, we're actually going to do some sandbag over yoke. So basically kind of almost like Atlas Stone style to start with. Then going to do a short yoke walk. I've got some lighter weights on than the other day, there and back, and then simply 15 calories on the assault bike. And we're going to do 3 times, 3 rounds through. So the last one, there's a little bit of a gap after the sled before I came back to the bar. This time in the compound carry condition, I'm going to attempt to basically just pump straight through. Section 2 of 3, let's go. That is section 2 of 3 done. So obviously we started off with a little push-pull legs kind of tri-set, obviously sub-maximal in terms of weight to maximize kind of tissue perfusion. And again, looking at everything we're doing in this program today through the lens of the fact that this should be a conditioning workout. The second section that we did was a compound carry condition. The compound for me was picking up a sandbag and chucking it over the yoke, because again, like I always say, if you're in an environment that has a kit and equipment that you don't normally have, flip and take advantage of that and use that stuff. So sandbag over, the carry was a yoke carry, and then the condition was just 15 calories in the assault bike and basically no break there. In terms of distance, probably 25, 30 meters total with the yoke, and it was 8 sandbag over yoke for reference. And basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off with what's called a PHA circuit. This is amazing for aerobic capacity, amazing for kind of keeping you nice and lean, and PHA basically stands for peripheral heart action. It's this physiological principle that if you do an exercise, shuttling like loads of oxygenated, nutrient-filled blood to your upper body, and then immediately with no break doing a lower body exercise, that process of what's called vascular shunting, so redirecting, rediverting all the blood, so all the kind of the blood vessels in the upper body squeeze and all the blood vessels in the lower body kind of expand and all the blood is pumped down there. That rapid rediversion of blood is called peripheral heart action. It's incredibly good for kind of the metabolic effect of burning fat, and it's also extremely gassy, so it gives you an amazing aerobic benefit. So I'm simply going to do some press-ups, I'm going to do some banded squats, and then for a little bit of kind of back and core in one, I'm going to do some toes to bomb. I'm probably going to do about 10 to 15 of each, 3 or 4 rounds through, no break. Third and final section, super gassy, but again, it gets this done quickly, keeping impact nice and low, working the joints at full range, getting a little bit of dump of growth hormone at the same time, ticks every flipping box. Let's crack on. What is going on, team? And that rounds out round 3 or section 3 and concludes the session. I flipping enjoyed that. Again, it's fairly snappy actually, it doesn't really take too long. I have to say I didn't do it completely strictly because as you saw from the fact that all the action shots or stills, I just keep moving the camera, but needs must. But overall, kind of anywhere between 3 and 5 rounds, depending on time and how sub-maximally you go in regards to the weight selection, would probably be a good kind of number. Section 1 with kind of the heavy cardio, the push-pull legs, I like to have a little bit of a break and use it as, ironically, in that kind of that hybrid section between something that is metabolic and functional bodybuilding stuff, but also fairly gassy. But I like to give it a little bit of a break at the beginning of the conditioning session, and then from there, the compound carry condition is a little break as possible, then a little kind of pump set. If you wanted to make it a proper conditioning session and make it a little bit longer, and there's one of those 3 sections that you wanted to extend a little bit, then what I would suggest you do is extend the middle part of the compound carry condition. I personally think of the 3, that is the one that's the most valuable. It's the one that works and challenges the vast majority of the systems, and basically it's going to drive both the anaerobic and the aerobic adaptation the most out of the 3. Really hope you did enjoy this video, guys. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you have not yet done so, please do subscribe. Amazing content for all hybrid athletes, general fitness enthusiasts, and want to be adventurous coming up. As always, guys, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will see you soon.